Interesting suggest.
Who remembers light gun peripherals for motion control gaming? I've got the Nintendo Switch rifle released years ago for Cabela's The Hunt, the official PlayStation Move gun attachment and sharpshooter from all the way back to the PS3 Move days, and finally the latest of the bunch, a Switch Joy-Con attachment released alongside a game called Chicken Range, where you literally shoot chickens that fight back by tossing eggs at you to impede your vision. I'm pretty sure you've tried or at least seen one of these peripherals at some point in time, but have you tried gaming in 2022 with this? Officially, this is the Govee Hexa Pro RGB IC 3D wall light, and it takes light show to an entirely different level with the ability to produce an array of colors per panel simultaneously. Now, if you've seen the Hexa Pro in action already, or perhaps you even own it and you're thinking, mine didn't come with those extra color pieces. Well, technically, yes, it did. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can duplicate this super easy hack to create your own custom look for your space. We'll look at some of the key features and highlights for this Pro model, and then we're going to play some light gun shooters, arcade style, while the Hexa Pro does its thing. So you can get a better sense for yourself what makes this setup so unique and immersive. Let's get into the specs to kick things off. The Hexa Pro is currently only being offered in packs of 10 right now, but unlike other Govee wall lights, such as the original Hexa and triangle panels, the Hexa Pro can support a max of 25 panels using a single power source, and you'll even be able to expand your design without having to purchase an entirely new kit, because sometime in September, Govee plans to offer additional panel kits directly. The Hexa Pro requires an input of 36 volts for an output of 120, and it has a working temperature between 14 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit. It also supports 2G Wi-Fi bands as well as Bluetooth and voice assistants such as Alexa, Google Home Assistant, and Siri. Here's a snapshot of the packaging that the Hexa Pro ships inside of. Some cool artwork front and center that has a little bit of a holographic effect going on, a couple of wall design options on the side, and some company contact information on the very back. At a glance, here's what's included inside. We have the user manual and quick start guide, 9 linking cables, one end with a triangle symbol, the other blank, the control box, AC wall adapter and power cable, 2 additional sticky pads, which as you can see are all now Govee branded, and then we have the 10 3D panels themselves, all identical in size and in function. Comparing the Hexa Pro to the standard Hexa model, you'll immediately notice that each panel has 3 sectional breaks on the Pro, and that they're all slightly sloped, versus a single smooth flat surface on the original. This is what helps give the Hexa Pro that 3D appearance when they're up on the wall. Examining the back of each, you'll notice that the Pro has 3 connection points, whereas the original model has a total of 6. The port labeled number 1 also has a triangle symbol, just as with one end of the linking cable, a clear indication of where the linking cable should be attached. And as for the non-marked end of each cable, that can be connected to any numbered port other than 1. When it comes to the setup, as with the original Hexa, the panels are not automatically detected, and because the app needs a specific side of the 3 sections of each panel to all face in the same direction in order to achieve the best 3D effect, you won't be able to skip ahead in the setup process. When installing the Hexa Pro, you'll really need to follow each step to a T. This allows the app to light up the correct side of each panel green, which ensures all of the 3D light scenes function correctly. But nevertheless, the overall setup process is very well thought out and executed by Govee, and you'll even receive cues on how to bend and secure the wires from panel to panel. Getting to the extra pieces I added on to my design to give it a bit more character. Here's the kicker. Each of these 6-inch colored hexagons are nothing more than the included protective cardboard packaging. That's right. These add-ons are nothing more than reinforced cardboard that I took out in the yard and spray painted. The dimensions are perfect, 1:1. Unlike sound panels that you'll find on the market, which usually end up being a lot larger. You get about 9 or 10 of them inside the box, so you'll have plenty of ways to customize your design. It was a very simple process. I used all-in-one fast-drying paint that has both paint and primer combined. I played with a number of color schemes at the onset, but I ultimately decided on this satin peacock blue and matte glacier gray combo. I picked these up at Lowe's, but you can usually find them on Amazon or your local department store. They're very cheap and they come in a gazillion colors, so pick whatever color scheme best suits you. Once dry, I simply added a small piece of gummy double-sided tape on all corners of the back before attaching alongside my design. Because the cardboard is so light, you can even use painter's tape temporarily to make sure you're happy with the design before you go all in. Though the Hexa Pro technically comes after the original, it's definitely not the little brother. When it comes to features and capabilities, there really isn't anything that the original model can do that the Pro model can't. However, there are a handful of upgrades for the Pro model that give it a distinct advantage in a head-to-head showdown. The 3 sectional areas on the Pro allow for greater precision of color distribution per panel. This is what Govee refers to as block form inside the app, where it creates a sort of blocky appearance within the overall hexagon shape. While the 2 models share hole and edge forms, the block form is a new addition unique to the Pro model. The Pro version also features 38 unique scene modes to the standard model's 30, and there's even a dedicated scenes tab on the Pro that emphasizes 3D visual effects. And even outside of the dedicated 3D tab, standard scenes that the 2 models share generally perform better for the Pro. For example, this is the flow scene within the Funny tab. Notice the effects look more lively on the Pro, as it leverages the sectional breaks to create the illusion that the light is crawling or slithering its way up the panels. You also have full control of the directional movement and speed for the majority of scenes, though it would have been awesome to have absolute control over each of the 3 sections per panel in either the color or DIY tab, as you're only able to target each panel as a whole for custom creations. But hopefully this is something that comes down the line in a future update. Lately, I've been on a serious light gun binge ever since I started playing House of the Dead Remake a few weeks back. Initially, I was actually planning on picking up the PS4 version to play on my PS5, which oddly enough requires the old PS4 VR camera and an adapter. But after reading up on the remake PS4 version and watching some videos on just how inaccurate the motion tracking currently is, I decided to pick up the Switch version to see how the gyro system fared. Unfortunately, it's nowhere near as accurate as my PS3 Move motion controls. The crosshair frequently drifts, so you have to continuously recenter by clicking the right stick. But once you have the muscle memory down, this game is seriously a lot of fun on the Switch using a gun peripheral. I tried a number of gun attachments since I bought the remake, even some aftermarket ones on Amazon, but in my opinion, the Cabela's Hunt's rifle is superior to all the rest. It's the largest peripheral I've seen on the market so far, which is great for those with larger hands. It's got a really solid build, no creaks or wobbly parts, and it even collapses for easier storage. And if anybody's wondering, this is an aftermarket stock pad cushion I added on. I really like this particular brand because it's so comfortable and grippy, though I had to use a little bit of crazy glue at the base of the stock so it fit more snugly. Tailing closely behind, I'd say that the chicken range gun is actually better than a lot of other aftermarket attachments you'll see floating around out there. This one has a really solid build as well, and even has traction grooves, unlike others, for a more secure grip. But unfortunately, you can't pick up either of these 2 Joy-Con gun attachments without paying for the entire game bundle, unless you're lucky enough to find a cheap listing on eBay. The Shoot by Cohort Studios is a serious throwback rail shooter from 2010 that I imagine would hold up well today on the Switch, despite the gyro issues. If nothing else, it would at least be decent, because anything is better than chicken range. The Shoot is seriously the perfect shooter to play alongside the Hexa Pro. The cyborg invasion scene makes the lights go crazy, but I suggest you play this game when no one else is looking, because it'll have you spinning in circles and waving the gun in the air to perform special moves. House of the Dead Overkill, which is a PlayStation exclusive, is definitely in my top 5 best rail shooters of all time. Because of the gyro aiming issues with the Joy-Cons, I ended up turning to Overkill a lot over the last few weeks to scratch that itch for pinpoint accuracy. I always get the highest scores in this game using the sharpshooter versus the pistol because of the smooth pump action reload system. And if anybody's wondering, yes, this is a real red and green dot sight that I added on, primarily for calibration purposes, but it also works really well for locating targets when you turn off in-game crosshairs for even more realism. I also added on a rubber grip for the handle and a stock pad cushion for added comfort and security. I'll drop a few links down below for anyone who may be crazy enough to take it this far as I did. Outside of the sharpshooter and pistol attachment, which I also added a grip to, I really want to try out the Nikon pistol, which simulates recoil, but they are so hard to find these days. If you're selling one, or you know someone who is, hit me up. Getting back to Overkill, this game has terrible voice acting. It's cringy, crude language non-stop from the beginning to the credits roll, but I think this game is absolutely hilarious and the gunplay is snappy and satisfying. The story mode is awesome. You can play co-op with a buddy right next to you or go full-on Lara Croft and dual wield 2 pistols. Aside from story mode, I love the mini arcade challenges like Stay Alive, where they send wave after wave of zombies non-stop. Sega's Overkill is pretty hard to find these days, so if you have a copy, hold on to it. And if not, keep your eyes peeled. I have to say, jumping back and forth between the Move and the House of Dead remake on the Switch using gyro leaves a lot to be desired. It's just a real shame that Nintendo didn't figure out a way to incorporate the infrared sensor for shooters, because I have no doubt that the overall experience will be improved. But hopefully we'll see improvement in that department for the next model. However, I will say, I love how the Switch allows for combined motion and analog controls to adjust viewpoints and aiming for non-rail shooters more easily. Being able to compensate for crosshair drift using the stick is a godsend. This also means you can rest the gun in your lap if your arms get tired, and rely solely on the stick to look around and navigate the character. With the move system, the gun has to remain raised so you can look from left to right within a predetermined dead zone. I've been experimenting with a handful of Switch shooters that support gyro, such as Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 and Resident Evil 5, and it works. I like navigating the character traditionally and then activating the motion aiming when the bad guys show up by holding down the ZL button, and from there I can make micro adjustments while aiming using the analog stick. Doom Eternal is another Switch game that works really well with the stick and motion control features and tandem, and even the Metro game series as well. I've really been enjoying these games so far playing in this way, as I get more accustomed to using the stick to adjust for crosshair drift. But let me know if you guys have any shooter recommendations for gyro control. The Hexa Pro 3D wall light has quickly become one of my favorite wall lights that I own. I think this one really pushes the envelope in a market that's quickly becoming more and more saturated with RGB light products of its kind. The ability to fine-tune the speed of movement and color shift allows for even more control of the mood or vibe that you're trying to create. And the DIY features are just becoming much more advanced and meticulous. You can lose hours personalizing your effects and sharing to the community. There's also a new update on the horizon that aims to provide even greater control over DreamView using voice assistance, so you aren't 100% reliant on activating the TV Sync feature inside the app. My biggest gripe for the Hexa Pro is one that I had back when the original Hexa was released, which is that the panels are unable to leverage the RGB-IC tech when using the DreamView TV feature. How awesome would it be to be able to designate certain panels to sync with various color zones around your TV? For example, I'd love to be able to sync the top panels with the top zones on the left side of my TV, and the mid and lower panels with the corresponding zones as well. But I really want to know what you guys think about the Hexa Pro. What RGB wall lights, if any, are you currently using? And what is on your RGB wish list for the near future? And of course, if you play shooters, let me know what you're currently playing and on what system, regardless if it has motion control features or not. Any questions, follow-ups, drop them down below. And as always, thank you for watching and supporting the channel. And I will see you guys in the next one.